science-based psychology in my YouTube channel. We are mainly sharing strategies from solution-focused brief therapy, neuroscience, acceptance commitment therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy. And today we will be examining how high achievers and professionals are using their time, what helps them to succeed, how they are coping with stress, and how they are structuring their week, and how we can use this knowledge if you want to be more successful, more disciplined, and to make best of our time that we have during the week without being exhausted, burnout, and tired. So I want to begin with an observation that struck me years ago and has shaped how I work with professionals ever since. An NFL plays roughly 17 games in a regular season and 17 performances. And each one, an entire week, is structured around preparation, study, walkthrough, situational rehearsal, recovery protocols, and mental preparation, and a highly specific game day routine. And nothing is left to chance because the performance matters. And this is one of the factors how they achieve success, like structuring and making as detailed plans as possible and not leaving anything to chance is one of the keys to success. And now let's think about our week. How many performances do we have? How many tasks do we have? And maybe it's a board presentation, difficult conversation with a team member, maybe it's lecture, an assignment that you need to submit, or consultation with someone who cares deeply about your judgment. Most professionals have several of these important appointments that they have during the week or performances that they prepare. And I want to give you the actual preparation architecture that elite performers and high achievers use and show how you can apply this to your work. Real high performance isn't about working harder or pushing yourself more without even any rest. It's about having a smart rhythm, like having time to study and adjusting your cognitive loads during times when you have the highest levels of energy and when you are physically active, and also taking rest and balancing work with resting. Because if you will continue to force yourself to work during times when you feel exhausted, this will lead to crash and burnout, and it will make it more difficult for you to focus. And one of strategies is to decrease distraction, because the professionals and people who succeed, they are using certain structured time to stay focused, motivated during that time, and they are decreasing distractions as much as possible, and also designing their environment in the way that will help them to succeed, and thinking about possible obstacles that they might encounter in advance. And for instance, there is a strategy of uh, trying to remember and uh, to imagine what might happen, and also imagining their performance, including setbacks, challenges, how they are responding to these setbacks. And this was found, according to research, found one of most efficient ways of succeeding. For instance, students who were imagining that they were studying for the exam, before the exam were able to do better in their exam, and they were able to succeed, because once you are imagining actual process of making whatever you need to do, and new neural pathways are being activated, and you are more likely to perform such an activity in real life. Or if you are facing any challenges at that moment when you are performing, it will be easier for you to find solutions for that setback, since you have already went there in your head, and this will make you feel less stressed, and there will be less resistance, and your problem solving skills will be increased. And that's actually what we are doing in solution focused brief therapy. We are helping the person to understand what they want to achieve, and helping them to walk through describing their desired outcome. And also, if there are setbacks or difficulties or contingency, we're placing that contingency in aligning with the desired version of themselves or the goals they want to achieve. And this actually helps the person to activate those parts of the brain that are needed to be performed in real life, and this makes it more likely for the person to overcome these challenges that might they be experiencing during the performance. So balancing your rest and work and designing your environment accordingly, understanding what helps you to succeed, what helps you to become successful, disciplined, confident, which environments, what people, which structures help you to feel relaxed or rest or to focus. So becoming aware of these patterns and using them deliberately, using your environmental design or people around you or places in a manner that would help you to structure better your day, your routines, and to make sense of your time and to succeed. And also noticing your thoughts about yourself, about your performance. Oftentimes people are being harsh with themselves and criticizing themselves, and this actually decreases their mood, performance, and as a result, uh, like it can be difficult for them to stay focused and to arrange their mood. However, if you approach yourself with compassion, with kindness, and if your relationship with yourself is friendly, then it's easier to stay focused on your goals, to decide what you want, and your mood is also improving. For instance, film study is one of the most psychologically interesting practices in professional sport, and it's deeply misunderstood from outside. It's not about finding fault, but it's a structured, emotionally regulated process of extracting information from what happened. And when, for instance, if you have done something not the way that you wanted, if you haven't performed well, or while you are trying to give a feedback to other people who are under your rule or under your control, we can use the sports psychology strategies and seeing the performance as an information that tells you which skills do we need to develop is one of strategies that can be used. For instance, we can choose specific behavior. We can say your first step was late on the play rather than you played badly, and this would help to set our attention on the behavior and to think about skills that we need to develop, and this will not arise any negative feelings, or this will not look like criticizing or attacking. So we can use the same strategies when we are examining our own work or when we are trying to support and give feedback to the others. So compare that to how most professionals review their own performance, unscheduled at 2 a.m., for instance, unstructured, global rather than specific, and saturated with shame. So it's not a review, it's a rumination. And when we are ruminating or blaming ourselves or criticizing, this is not being helpful for any of us. Therefore, noticing those self-critical thoughts, self-attacks, and turning them into something useful. For instance, anytime when you notice that you are criticizing yourself or others, you can ask yourself, so what's the solution here? What I need to do better? Or how can I approach the person in order to support them in this journey and help them to improve? And as we have mentioned, visualization strategies, if we are visualizing how we are overcoming the setbacks or thinking about how we are overcoming the challenges while performing, this was found one of most efficient ways of helping the person to perform better in real life. And 2-minute drill, convincing yourself if there are certain things that you were procrastinating, that you can do the certain task just for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, was found highly efficient to decrease procrastination, because once you start, it's easier to focus on the task, and in the background, actually, your mind tries to help you, to support you to finish the task. Therefore, the first initial anxiety is more challenging, and therefore if you can convince yourself that you will do certain task or work just for 5 minutes, generally the continuation follows and you are able to focus and you get more motivated. And identifying your actual game days. One of the problems that we are experiencing is that we are paying too much attention on details, on unimportant tasks that we have that are draining our energy. So therefore, starting the week, deciding, setting your priorities, what are some most important and urgent things that you need to focus, and doing them at the times when you have the most energy, most focus, can help you to manage your week and plan your week more wisely. Because part of what exhausts high achievers and others well is treating every interaction as a performance and deciding deliberately which few things need full preparation gives you permission to be ordinary in the rest of your week. And arriving with resources intact. Do not schedule cognitively demanding work in the 90 minutes before your most important performance. Like if there is something important happening in your life, try to design your environment and your routines. Like try to prepare and help yourself to relax before the performance, and don't place too many cognitively demanding tasks one by one, because this will make you feel exhausted, tired, fatigued, and this will eventually decrease your performance and productivity. Therefore, time management planning is extremely important. I try to share certain strategies within the time that I have today to help you, to support you, and to help you to perform better, to manage your time better, to be more productive. And I shared certain skills and insights that high achievers and athletes are using to succeed. I hope this was a good use of your time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming and your attention. Take good care of yourself, and see you in the next videos again.